Welcome in, you guys. Happy Tuesday. We're going to be doing some GED math. We're strictly going to be doing some polynomials. So if you know anybody that's struggling to pass the math GED, please share this live, double tap that screen, and let's get started. So number 1 says, add 3x squared plus x minus 2 plus x squared minus 4x plus 7. All right, so we're going to look for like terms, okay? So we have a 3x squared and x squared here. And then we have this plus x and this minus 4x. And then we have, what else do we have? We have these negative 2 plus 7. So if you got the answer, put it in the chat. What do you think the answer is? Okay. So 3 plus, remember, there's always an imaginary 1 to every letter, okay? So if that helps you, put that 1 there. And then 3 plus 1 is going to give us 4. These x's stay the same, so x squared, okay? They only change if we're multiplying, but since we're adding, they stay the same. So right off that, I know D and A is not an option. Now I just gave myself a 50-50 chance. Thank you so much for the follows, you guys. Thank you. So now let's go to the pink, okay? So we have 1x minus 4x. Okay, so we're thinking about we have $1 in the bank. We spent 4. So we're down 3x. Remember, these stay the same. So just by looking here, I know B is going to be my answer. Okay. These came out the same, so we really were looking here to see what the answer was. Okay, let's go to number 2. All right, so the difference between adding and subtracting is huge, okay? You have to do one step before we can highlight. Good. RJ said 5. Yep, plus 5. You want me to finish it out? So -2 plus 7 is going to give you a positive 5. Yep, and that's our answer, which is B. Okay, but remember, this is a time test, you guys. So don't waste time. Once you see your answer, circle and move on. Save your time for all those like much longer word problems, harder problems. Save it for that, okay? Number 2. Okay, so our step 1, whenever you're subtracting, you have to distribute the negative. And it's like, what that mean, right? So we're going to put a -1. So if this wasn't here, what we would say is we would multiply this and this to -1. So we're going to do -1 times a 2x gives us -2x. And then -1 times a positive 3 gets us -3y. So now we're going to drop this down. We're dropping this down, you guys, because it doesn't have a negative in front of it. So that's why we're able to just drop it down just like it is. Now, if you love color like me and help you see what's like, these are both have X's and these ones have Y's. So let's see some answers in the chat. What do you guys think number 2 is? Thank you so much for the follows, you guys. A, okay. Taurus said A. Love it. Oh, all the A's are coming in. Beautiful. Okay, so 3x minus 2x gives us 1x. And then 2y minus 3. I have $2. I spent 3. I'm down $1. So A is our answer. Perfect. All right, let's go to the next, number 3. So step 1, I'm horrible at math. Thanks for teaching us all. Oh, yes, no problem. Yep. You just need that one person to unlock your brain. Yep. I'm telling you, I used to be terrible at math too, all the way up to college. And then for some reason it just clicked and I was like, wow, I'm really good at this. So you just need to meet that one person. Don't give up. Okay. Somebody said they're lost. Okay. So let's try number 3. Okay. So we're looking at this -1. We always have to distribute the negative. Okay, so if you have to put that -1 there, distribute it, and then you're going to multiply here and here. So really what you're doing is you're changing to the signs to their opposite. So a negative times a positive is a negative 2x squared. A negative times a negative is always a positive. And then a negative times a positive is a negative 1. Okay. So literally all we're doing is flipping the signs. Okay. Now this doesn't have a negative in front of it, so we're able to just drop this down. So I'm going to put 6x squared plus 2x minus 4. All right, now we're looking for like terms. So you have to understand what like terms are, okay? Like terms are when they have the same variable with the same exponent on them. Variable just means letter, okay? So if here I have plus 2x and I have an x here. So these are like terms. I do not look for the numbers in front. That doesn't tell me like terms. The letters tell me like terms. I hope that's making more sense for the people that struggle with like terms, okay? Ooh, okay. Porter said C. All right, let's see. Do we have any other answers? Somebody said D. This is to get your high school diploma. C. Ooh, we are kind of all over the place with this one. So 6 minus 2. Okay. So 6 minus 2 is going to give us 4. Remember, these x's stay the same. X squared. Okay, that doesn't help us, okay, because they're all 4x squared. All right, let's go to the purple. So now we have 2 plus 5. So that's going to give us 7x. That just helped us. So now, since I know that 2 plus 5 is 7, I can eliminate A and B. You just gave yourself a 50-50 chance. Okay, I see those C's and D's coming in. Okay. Ooh, okay. So now, this is what gets people. Somebody owes you $4. They say, let me get one more dollar. How much do they totally owe you? How much do they totally owe you? They borrowed 4 and they said, let me get one more. 5. Yes, 5. So they owe you $5. So it is C is our answer. Thank you, Kate, for the rose. Thank you, thank you. Alrighty, let's go to the next. So somebody was asking what grade this is. We do this in Algebra 1. It's algebra. Okay, Algebra 1, 9th grade math, or you could do it in Algebra 2, really. Okay, let's go to the next. Okay, are you on every day? I'm trying to for the month of August before school starts back. That's my goal, but you know, I got 3 babies, 1 in the tummy, so it just depends on how I feel, to be honest. But that's my goal for this month, to hit it hard. So use the properties of exponents to rewrite x to the 3rd, x to the 6th, and x to the 2nd. All right, does anybody know what we do with these exponents? Good, I think the first one is x to the 36. B. Times, add. Yes, let's talk about, we add these, okay? If we were timesing them, it would have to look something like this. See the difference here? See how the power's up on each other versus these are spaced out? So when they're spaced out like this, you add them. So it really be x to the 3rd plus 6 plus 2. Okay, so 3 plus 6 is 9. Plus 2 is 11, so we get x to the 11. So A is our answer. Good. Yep, A. So let's talk about why C is not correct. C is not correct because, remember, there's imaginary ones here, but the operation is times. So really, we're doing 1 times 1 times 1. That's why it just stays 1 in front. It didn't say add. So that's why we can't even get C or D. Okay, so good. I hope that makes sense. So let's go to number 5. We're going to multiply 2x to the 4th times 4x to the 5th. Thank you so much for the rose, Vincent. Okay, so some people are saying D, B. Okay. Thank you for the follows and the double taps, everyone. I really appreciate it. 8 times 9. All right, so the first thing we're going to do is we're going to multiply 2 times 4. Okay. And then, again, you have to ask yourself, what do you do with the exponents? Are you timesing them or adding them? Remember, when it's spaced out, you have to add them. Okay, yes, good. R said add. Perfect, you guys. Yes, add. So 2 times 4 is 8. So now I can eliminate A and C. Now I just gave myself a 50-50 chance. And then X, 4 plus 5 is to the 9. So B is our answer. Good. Good. B. So somebody said 6 is D. I love it. Already ahead of us. There's a rule when it's times, then we add. I'm trying to understand your question. So if it's a power and a power, you multiply, but when they're spaced out like this, then you add the exponents. I think that's what you're saying. So, okay, so now we have x to the 8th over divided by x to the 2nd. Thank you, Sarah, for the rose. What do we do with the exponents when they're on top of each other? Does anybody know? Ooh, subtract. Wonderful. Thank you. Thank you so much for the rose. So we can write this as 8 minus 2, okay? So 8 minus 2 is going to give us 8 to the 6. X to the 6. So D is our answer. Now let's talk about why some people can't see it, okay? So really what we're saying is, thank you so much for the roses. We're going to do X 8 times, okay? You have to understand what exponents mean. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, okay? And we're going to put that all over 2. So now, when we're dividing, x divided by x cancels. This cancels. And then you say, how many x's do you have left? Well, you have 6 of them left. Thank you, Sabrina, for the rose. Thank you. Okay. All right, good. Thank you. I'm glad it's making sense. Wonderful. Okay, let's go to 7. All right, simplify 25x to the 9th, y to the 4th, over 15x to the 6th, y to the 12th. Thank you so much, you guys, for the roses. So, first off, where should we start here? Where should we start? Top. Okay, exponent, number, divide. Yes. We're going to start at the coefficients. Okay, I'm saying this vocab so you guys can get it in your brain so that when you're hearing these words, it's not like, what do they even mean? So coefficients are the numbers that are attached to the variables. Okay, so it's the numbers that are in front of the variables, I should say, because this number is attached to the variable also, right? But this is an exponent, so it's the bigger one. So we're going to focus on reducing 25 and 15. We're asking ourselves, what do they both have in common? What do they have in common? 5, 5, 5. Wonderful. Yes. So I can divide this by 5 and I can divide this by 5. So that reduces down to 25 divided by 5 is 5. And then 15 divided by 5 is 3. So just by doing this, I know A and B are out. You just gave yourself a 50-50 chance on the test, okay? Just by doing this part. Now, we have to go back to, let's break this down. We have x to the 9th over x to the 6th. Remember, you're subtracting these. So you're going to get x 9 minus 6. So it's going to be x to the 3rd. Okay, both of them have x to the 3rd on top, but you see this x to the 2nd on bottom? We don't have any x to the 2nd on our bottom. So D is our answer. Thank you, Ron, for the roses. And we could, and if this was a time, remember this is a time test, we would circle and we would move on. Okay. Oh, you're so welcome. But let's finish it, okay, so people can understand. So here, let's talk about this, okay? Because I just put this x to the 3rd on top, but a lot of people don't know why I put it on top, right? Some people don't know, like, okay, why did it go on top? Well, because this is very different. So if you're struggling with this, y to the 4th over y to the 12th. Take the time to draw it out. Remember, you have 4 y's on top, and you have 12 y's. 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then another 4, okay? Oh, I'm running out of space, y'all. I ran out of space. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, okay? These two cancel out. These two cancel out. These two cancel out. These two cancel out. So what's left is a 1 is on top, and then we're going to count up all these y's. Well, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. But where is it at? It's on the bottom of the fraction. So that's why we put y to the 8th on the bottom. Okay, I hope that makes sense. Okay. All right, let's go to the next. We got some factoring coming on, you guys. We have multiplying, dividing, and then we're going to jump into some factoring, okay? So hopefully some people need help with this and it makes sense. And they passed that GED test, yes. Okay, so we're going to distribute here, okay? We're going to multiply. When everybody says distribute, that just means multiply. Oh, you're welcome, Dream. Oh, thank you so much for the roses. Oh, okay. So when we multiply these two things together, right? We're focusing first on this 5 times the 3. So 5 times 3, okay? And I'm going to write this step by step because sometimes we get a little bit confused. We have this x to the 3rd, and then we're timesing it by this x. What does anybody know what the exponent is on this x right here? 1, 1. Good. Yes, it's a 1 right here. Whenever you don't see it, it's always a 1. So we're going to add that to the 1 because remember, whenever you multiply variables, you're adding them. Okay. And then we're going to take our y. So we have a y. There's an imaginary 1 right there. So if you need to put it, plus this 2 that's in here. So now we get 5 times 3, which is 15. X to the 3 plus 1 gives us 4. Y to the 1 plus 2 gets us 3. By us just doing that, you guys, what can we eliminate? What can we cross out right away? Does anybody see what we can cross out? A and B. Perfect. Yes. A and B is out of there. So now we just gave ourselves a 50-50 chance on the test. Even if we had to guess, we guessing better than, all of them, okay? So somebody said the answer is C. I love it, Lopez. So C is the answer. Okay, let's check it out. So now we're going to go. Okay, let me scoot this over. We're going to do here, 5 times 2. So we're doing 5 times 2, which is 10. They both have a 10, okay? Now we have that x to the 3rd times 2 here. So we're going to add 2. So 3 plus 2 gets us x to the 5. Right here, I don't even have to continue with the y's. I do not. I could just write it right here. So I have x to the 5th. So C is our answer. Thank you so much, Annetta, for the rose. All right, let's keep it pushing, okay? Okay, so here we have multiplying binomials. Thank you, Shay, for the rose. And oh, thank you so much for the hearts. So here we have two binomials. And what binomials means is you got two things in parentheses, okay? You got an x and you got a number, okay? Two things in the parentheses. So there's multiple ways, you guys. We could do FOIL. We could do distributive property. I'm trying to think which way we're going to do it. I'm going to do distributive property, okay? So I'm going to take this first one and I'm going to multiply it by this entire parenthesis, okay? Then I'm going to take this next term here and I'm going to multiply it by that. So I'm going to write 3x times this entire thing, 2x minus 5, okay? So we're going to distribute that first. So 3x times 2x, 3 times 2 gets us 6. Remember, how many x's do you have here? X to the 2nd. By us just doing that, I know A and C are out. Okay. Ooh, somebody said B is the answer. Somebody said D is the answer. Okay, we got 50-50 chance right now. So 3x times -5 gets us -15. Don't forget to carry the x with it. X. Okay. Now we're going to take this 4. It's positive 4, and we're going to multiply it by this. 2x minus 5. Okay. We're going to distribute here. So we're going to do 4 times 2x gets us 8x. And then 4 times the -5 gets us -20. Okay. And now you have to ask yourself, do you have any like terms? Thank you so much for the roses. So we have some like terms here. Okay, we got some like terms. So we have -15x plus 8x. So -15x plus 8x, what does that give us? Does anybody know? DD, -7x, -7x. Good. Yes. Somebody borrowed $15 from you. They paid you $8. They still gonna owe you $7. So D is the answer. Yep, D is our answer. Good. All right. Number 10. So we're gonna do the same way. We're gonna take this first thing, x, and we're gonna multiply it by the second binomial. Okay. And then we're gonna take the second one, -2y, and we're going to multiply it by this binomial, 2x minus y. All right. So, do you do the box method and combine like terms? Yes, I love the box method. I truly do love the box method. But sometimes I think on a time test, do you really have the time to like draw a box, fill it in? I don't know. It all depends, because if the box method gets you 100% correct, right, then you have to take the time to do it. So, yeah. I get what you're saying. I go back and forth with it. But like for the ACT, you really have, it's like 60 questions, 60 problems, right? 60 questions in 60 minutes. You only have 1 minute per question. So it's like you really got to practice to where you're not, I don't know. I go back and forth because I love the box though. Okay, so x times 2x gets us 2. How many x's do we have here? X squared. Okay, so we all have 2x squared, so we can't eliminate nothing. And then x times y. You guys, it's literally not going to make sense in your brain. You're going to be like, x times y. What is, I don't even know what that is. Just put it together. When anybody asks you a letter times a letter, you just squish it squish it together. Anytime they ask you times x times a number, squish it together. So x times negative y is negative xy. Okay. You just put it all together. Okay. Now we're going to go here. Negative 2y times 2x. Well, negative 2 times a positive 2 gets us a negative 4. And then yx, xy. Okay. You just put the letters together. And why I'm switching it to not write yx instead of xy is because usually your multiple choice is always going to be in alphabetical order. So x comes before y. So that's why I'm writing it like that. Okay. Hope that makes sense. Okay. So now negative 2y times a negative 1. Well, a negative times a negative is a positive 2. And how many y's do we have here? We have 2 of them. So by looking at our first here, we have a 2x squared. And looking at our last, we have a 2y squared. Oh, and they all end, but it's a positive 2y. So this is out. C is out because that's a negative 2y squared. This is also out because it's a minus 2y squared. So now we just gave ourselves a 50-50 chance, you guys. Yeah, so I said, oh, wait, B. Yes. Remember, there's an imaginary 1 right here. And these are like terms. So negative 1 minus 4 gets us a negative 5xy. And B is the answer. Thank you so much for the roses. Can everybody take a second to double tap their screen for me? Can we get the likes up? And if you know anybody that's struggling with the GED, trying to get their high school diploma and math is stopping them, please share this live with them. Thank you, everyone. Okay, so you guys see, I shouldn't have squished this down here, but I did. Thank you so much for the rose, Lucio. So divide, okay, so we're going to divide. So this is A, B, C, and D. I don't know why I squished it in here. I shouldn't have done that, but I was like, I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. Thank you so much for the rose. So when you see something like this, what this is telling you is you have to divide this into every single thing. So first, let's just focus on 12p to the third q. Okay, and let's divide this by here. 8p squared q to the third. Let's just look at this first one here. So we have to look at what 12 and 8. What can we divide out of 12 and 8? Can you guys put it in the chat? Somebody said D. Yeah, I do slopes, but I didn't plan for that today with the GED. 4, 4, 4. Good. So I'm going to divide by 4 here, and I'm going to divide by 4 here. Okay. So 12 divided by 4, I should have wrote it on the side, but that's going to be 3. And 8 divided by 4 is going to give us 2. So now we know we have 3 halves. So the only one that has 3 halves starting is D or C. A and B are out. So now we just gave ourselves a 50-50 chance. Really, we don't even need to really do, we can, because they got P's, P's, Q's, Q's, and this one got P and Q. So let's do it. All right. So P to the third over P to the second. Remember, when you have P to the third divided by P to the second, you're subtracting the exponents. Okay, you guys see? Sorry, I'm off. So P3 minus 2 gives us just 1P. And the P is going to go on top because there's more P's on the top than the bottom. Okay. So now here we have, I'm going to write it right here, q over q to the third. What does that mean? I have one q on top and I have 3 q's on the bottom. This cancels. So now I have no q's on top and I have 2 q's left. So q to the second. So does everybody see what answer you have to have? It has to be C. And a lot of times, you guys, they will do this to you, which we want to thank them, right? They're not making us divide each and everything to get the answer. They're just saying, if you can divide the first one, then you know how to divide, circle your answer, and move on. You do not have to do all of them. Why does it cancel? Oh, because Q divided by Q cancels out. It's like saying 1 divided by 1 or 2 divided by 2. 2 divided by 2 goes to a 1. So anything divided by itself always cancels out to a 1. Great question. It's probably confusing because I didn't have enough room to really write it out. So sorry about that. Okay. All right. Don't worry, we got some more dividing ones to do. Okay, so let's go to number 12. Okay, let's go to number 12. So here, you guys, this is kind of where we're going to get into factoring, okay? And if you've never done factoring before, it's going to look crazy. Thank you so much for the gift. Okay, so it's going to look crazy at first, but then hopefully you kind of get what we're doing. So I'm only going to focus on the top, the numerator. So 21x to the third minus 14x to the second. And what I'm looking for, good, Golan said 7, is I'm looking for what number can divide into 21 and 14. And that's called the greatest common factor. Now, if you need more help on like basic things like this, I do have my YouTube channel, you guys, where I do like specific lessons, GCF, LCM, GED, mini lessons, target. So go to my profile, look on there, okay? But our GCF is going to be 7. Perfect. And then does anybody know what our GCF is of the letters? Like how many can we take out? Does anybody know? Thank you so much for the follows and the shares. Thank you, thank you. X to the second. Good. Yes, X to the second, X to the second. Perfect. So since this is my GCF, I'm going to divide both of these by 7x to the squared. Okay. So what I'm going to get here is 21 divided by 7 gets me a 3. I have x to the third divided by x to the second. Remember, you're subtracting these. So you're left with 1x. Minus 14 divided by 7 gets me the 2. And x to the second divided by x to the second. These 2's cancel. 2 minus 2 is nothing. So there's no more x's left. So we have 3x minus 2. So really we can see A is our answer. But let's keep on going, okay? So now let's focus. That's our numerator. Now let's focus on the bottom. So we're going to look at 14x to the third plus 21x to the second, okay? A good thing is it's the same GCF, right? So we're going to divide this by 7x squared, divide this by 7x squared. 14 divided by 7 gets us a 2. 3 minus 2 gets us 1x. Okay, we have a plus sign. And then 21 divided by 7 gets us the 3. And since we have 2 x's on top, 2 x's on bottom, they cancel. That's why that is our answer. Okay. Wonderful. All right. Okay. Any questions on this one? Thank you so much for the gift. Okay. Any questions? Why is it plus 3? Because we're looking at 21 divided by 7. 21 divided by 7 is 3. And then when I said, so we have 2 x's on top and 2 x's on bottom. These x's both cancel out, so there's no x's left here to attach to that 3. So how did you get 2? Oh, how did we get 2 here? We did 14 divided by 7. So 14 divided by 7 gets us a 2. So, because 7 times 2 is 14. That's how we got the 2. And then how we ended up with the x by it is because we had 3 x's on top and 2 x's on the bottom. And so these x's cancel out and leave 1 left. No, I'm the GCF. Oh, okay. So on the GCF, how we got that is because we're trying to figure out how many x's we can pull out. So you always pull out the smaller of the, so we had 3 and then we had 2. So we had to pull out the 2 because that's what we could actually pull out. We can't pull out 3 because we can't take 3 from 2. Great question. Good. So let's try this one. Okay. This one is kind of similar to this. Okay. So now let's look here. We have 9s to the third t plus 6st squared. Okay, we're going to look for that greatest common factor. Okay, so first you're trying to look at what can go into 9 and 6. Good. Somebody said 3, 3, 3. Good. 3 can. Now we're looking at, okay, I have s to the 3 here and just an s. What can I pull out? Which one can I pull out? S to the 3 or just s? What can go into both of these? S. Good. Ooh, you said st. Good. S. And then I have 1 t here and 2 t's here. So I can only pull out 1 t. So my GCF is 3st. So whenever they have numbers and letters in common, you're pulling out the smaller of the 2 letters, if that makes sense, okay? Good. Somebody said A is the answer. So why not the s to the third? Great question. If I pull out s to the third here, right? Then I don't have enough. Like I can't pull out 3 out of 1. So I can't pull out 3 here. I could pull out 3 here, but I can't pull out 3 here because there's not enough to pull out. I only have 1 here. So that's why we can't pull out s to the 3. So you always minus the letters? Yes, because what we're doing is we're really dividing. And remember, whenever we divide, we're really subtracting those, we're subtracting the exponents. That's how you can look at it. So 9 divided by 3. So let's just look at this first part, okay? So 9 divided by 3 gets us a 3, okay? We have 3 s's up here and 1 s. How many will we have left? S to the second. 3 minus 1 gives us 2, okay? T over t cancels, okay? Plus, okay, now we have 6 divided by 3 gets us a 2. And then these s's cancel, and we have 2 t's up here and 1. So 2 minus 1 gets us 1 t. Okay. Okay, so that's just our top. Thank you for the TikTok. Thank you for the gifts, you guys. Okay, so right now, that's what I'm looking at, okay? Ooh, it doesn't look like none of my answer choices are there. All right, so now let's see what we can pull out of here at the bottom. So let me hold off there. So let's see what we can pull out. So 6s to the third t plus 4st squared, okay? So now I'm looking for my GCF, okay, of this one. So what do 6 and 4 have in common? Good. Somebody said 2, 2, 2. Wonderful. So we have a 2. Remember, I have s to the third and an s. I have to pull out the smaller one. So I'm pulling out an s. I have a t and t to the second, so t. So now I have 2st, okay? So now let's divide this. Let me scoot it over. So let's divide each of these by 2st and 2st. So 6 divided by 3. Okay, 6 divided by 3 is 3. And s to the third minus 1 gets us s squared. These t's cancel. Boom, I'm done. Plus 4 divided by 2 gets us 2. And these s's cancel because s divided by s is gone. We have 2 t's and 1 t. 2 minus 1 gives us 1 t. Okay. Now, let's talk about this. On here, right, our first GCF was 3ST, okay? Our second GCF on the bottom was 2ST. Does everybody see how this and this are the exact same? See how these binomials are the exact same? So these can actually cancel each other. These can cancel each other here and here. Then t divided by t cancels, s divided by s cancels. So the only thing that's left is, like you guys were saying in those comments, A. 3 divided by 2 is our answer. Yep. Good. I said, wow, so cool. Yes. So by us just getting this 3s squared plus 2, we knew D and C had to be out. And then we was like, okay, well, we got to keep on going with this to see. Really, this was out too because it had a 9 and a 4. So A was the answer. Good. Oh, okay. So if you want to rewatch this live, I am going to post it on my YouTube channel, you guys. So I always post all the lives on YouTube so you guys can have a free for all and watch it and try it again. So, yep. I will post it. It usually takes me like a day. Like I try to get it up the next day. Okay. All right. Yeah, you're so welcome. Okay. So let's do number 14. So it says divide 2x to the fourth plus x minus 6 divided by x plus 2. So we're going to do the long division way, okay? So we're going to do x plus 2, and we're going to divide that by 2x to the fourth plus x minus 6. Okay. Thank you so much for the rose, Finnery. Oh, YouTube name, please. So my YouTube is the same as my Impact Math 19. And if you click the link in my profile, it's right there on my profile. So Impact Math 19 is on my YouTube page, okay? All right, so when we're doing this, you guys, when we're doing this division, we're only focusing on this. So we're asking ourselves, x times what can get us this 2x to the fourth? Does anybody know? You're so welcome. X. Ooh, okay. 2. Okay, so we know we need a 2. Perfect. Now, how many x's do we need up here to make 4? Remember, we got 1 down here. Good. Key said x to the third. Yes, x to the third. We need 3 more. So 2x to the third times x will give us 2x to the fourth. And then what we do to one thing, we have to do to the other. So 2 times, what is this? 2 times 2 is 4. And we have 4x to the third. okay? Well, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to spread this out a little bit, okay? Because really, I'm going to wipe this out. Oh, does it work? Did I run out? So really, I should have spreaded this out. So why you want to spread this out, you guys, is because it went from the fourth to just 1. So we could put in 0x to the third plus 0x to the second plus x minus 6, okay? And this just helps you get a better track of what you're doing, okay? So really you could add 0x to the third, 0x to the second, okay? So now we're going to subtract. But when we subtract, we have to subtract everything. So we're going to change this to a minus. So 2 minus 2 goes to a 0. And 0 minus 4 gets us that negative 4x to the third. Okay. Okay, somebody said I'm lost now. Okay. So let me explain why I did this. I did this because if I would have had x right here, these are not like terms. So I can't combine these. I can't do 1x minus 4x to the third because they're not like terms. So I substituted in a 0x to the third and a 0x to the second so that it can just fill it. Okay, I really could have just left this blank. You don't have to do this, but you have to understand, though, don't get it twisted now, that if you do, you cannot combine these, though, okay? So we could have left this blank here if you wanted to and just had minus 4x to the third, okay? Okay, so now let's keep it going. So negative 4x to the third. It said, are these actual questions from the GED test? I got this off of McGraw-Hill, mathematical reasoning. So that's where I got these problems from for the GED test. So I believe they all have the multiple choice. So, yeah. So 0 minus 4, okay? So now we're here. So now we're asking ourselves, what can I times this x by to get negative 4x to the third? What can I get? So I can get a negative, okay, so I'm going to do negative 4. And then how many more x's do I need? I need 2 more. Am I messing this up, y'all? I'm looking at my answer choices. I got a 2x to the second minus 3 and a 2x to the second. And right here, I got 2x to the third. Let me just keep on going. Let me just see. So negative 4x to the square gives us what? Negative 4 times x is going to give us negative 4x to the third. And then negative 4 times 2 is going to get us negative 8x squared, okay? Then remember, when you're minusing, you have to change these signs. You have to flip them. So we're going to do this cancels, and we have 8x squared plus x, okay? I'm just going to keep on going because I'm going to see what's going to happen. So now I'm asking myself, how can I cancel this 8x? Well, I can cancel this 8x by doing plus 8x. So 8x times x gives me an 8x squared. And then 8x times 2 gets me plus 16x. And then you have to subtract. So you're subtracting here and you're subtracting here. So this cancels. And then 1 minus 16. Let me bring it up over here. Oh, running out of space. So 1 minus 16 is going to give us negative 15x minus 6. Okay. Now I'm trying to think, what can I times x by to get this? Well, I can times it by negative 15. So negative 15 times x gets me a negative 15x, and negative 15 times 2 is going to get me a negative 30. All right, but I'm going to subtract, so I'm going to change my sign. This cancels, And then negative 6 plus 30 is going to give us what? 24? Remainder 24? And those look like none of my answers. I wonder what I was thinking when I wrote this. Hold on, you guys. Let me go get I got it right here. Let's see. Let's see. So, polynomial and expressions. Maybe I was looking at a different one when I was writing that answer. Hold on just a second. Let's see. And this is McGraw-Hill. Nope, there it goes right there. Did I write it right? Oh, played myself. So here it's x squared, not x to the fourth. Because I'm like, what the? How'd I get this? So that was my bad, y'all. I wrote it wrong. I should have put a square there instead of a fourth. Sick. Wowzers. Bruh, I know, right? I was like, there has to be something to it. But this is our answer. This would be our answer. And then we would have remainder 24. So it'd be 24 over what we divided by x plus 2. Now, this is some algebra 2 stuff. Okay, I'm going to tell you right now. That's algebra 2. So I see why the person was like, is this really on the actual GED? I see why now, because this is supposed to be 2 right here. So my bad, y'all. My bad, okay? And we don't got enough space, so we're going to just move on, okay? We're going to move on. I wrote it wrong. This is supposed to be a little 2. I just showed y'all. Well, if you're lost, it's okay, because this was algebra 2 level, okay? Somebody said, do it over. Should we do it over? Let me see. I want to really get to the factor in. I got factor. Okay. I'll do the right one once we get through this, okay? We just got like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, okay? And then I'll redo it at the end. All right, okay. So let's go to 15, okay? 15. So evaluate 2x second minus 4xy plus 3y squared for x equals 5 and y equals negative 1. Okay, as soon as you guys see x equals 5, yeah, remember, wherever you see an x at, that's what you plugging in, a 5, okay? And then a y, it said y is negative 1. So we're going to replace this y with negative 1. Okay, so let's actually write it out. So we have 2 times, and since whenever you have a number attached to a variable, that's times. So that's why I'm using parentheses. I'm going to plug in 5 squared minus 4. Oh, I see a number next to a letter. Put parentheses. And so I'm going to plug in 5 here. And then our y is going to be negative 1 plus 3. And then I see another y, so I'm plugging in negative 1 to the squared. Okay, so we're just plugging in, okay? All right, so now this becomes an order of operation. And if this is on like the calculator part, you can plug this whole thing into the calculator just as you wrote it and just come out with an answer. Now, if it's on the non-calculator part, that's where you got to do it in your head, right? Somebody said B is our answer. I love it. Oh, thank you. Matthew said B. Okay, so let's see. So we're going to start with exponents. And remember, exponents mean we're doing 5 times 5. Don't do that 5 times 2. No. And you can't do 2 times 5 first. You have to do 5 times 5. So 5 times 5 is 25. And we're still going to have that times 2. Okay. Now we're going to minus, okay, I'm just going to drop down everything else, okay, plus 3, and we can do this, negative 1 times a negative 1. A negative times a negative is always a positive, so 1 times So this becomes 1. I'm going to just show each step. Times 1, okay? So we took care of the exponent here, exponent here. So now we're going to do 25 doubled, which is 50 cents. Okay. And then we could do 4 times 5. Okay, so I'm going to draw this down. 4 times 5 gets us 20. And we're going to times by that -1. Okay, here. Plus 3 times 1 gets us 3. Okay, now we have multiplication here, so we have to do this first. The most important thing that you have to remember, you guys, whenever you have subtraction and addition, you have to work from left to right, okay? So a -20 times a -1. A negative times a negative gets us that +20. Plus 3, 50 here, okay? So now 50 plus 20 is 70. And 70 plus 3, B is our answer. Beautiful. So those who are saying B, wonderful. Good job. Good. Okay, now let's get into some factoring. Okay, we were doing a little bit of factoring on the other page, but now we're gonna, this is telling us 2 factor, okay? So again, we're looking for that greatest common factor. Oh, can I write it? Greatest common factor, okay? GC, that's supposed to be a C. GCF, okay? So you're asking yourself, what can go into 12, 9, and 6? That's why I love multiple choice. We don't even have to know, right? All of them have what? A 3. So we know 3 is going to go into 12, 9, and 6, okay? Now, how many X's can I pull out? Can somebody put it in the chat? Somebody said D. Hey, Big Mama. X, Y to the second. I think we could pull out more X's. 2. Good. So we have X to the squared right here. So we could pull out X to the squared. And how many Y's can we pull out? Well, we have 1 Y here, so we can only pull out 1. That's our smallest one that we can pull out. So now what we're going to do, really, if we have this, 3x squared y. So the only one that has the 3x squared y, 3x squared y is B. And we really don't have to do more than that. But we're going to do more so you guys can see why it's B, okay? So now that I know that this is my GCF, I'll show you how they got this inside. So we're doing 12x fourth y divided by 3x squared y. 12 divided by 3 is 4. 4 minus 2. How many x's do you have left? You have 2 left. Y minus y cancels out. So see how they got 4x squared with no y's left over? You guys see it? Good. Any questions? Thank you for the shares. Thank you for the double taps. Somebody said, yep. Why did you put the 2 in the middle? So it says, why did you put the 2 in the middle in the GCF? In the GCF. Oh, I had to take out x to the 2 because that's the smallest x out of all these 3 terms. That's a great question. See how I have x to the 4th, x to the 3rd, and then x to the 2? Well, the smallest of the x's that I can pull out is 2 of them. So that's why I had to pull out x to the 2. Great question. Okay, let me see. Wouldn't it be 1x? Nope, because we have 2 x's here. See, we pulled out 1 y here because there was only 1 y here. See how we have y, y to the 2, y to the 2? So the smallest of the y's was just a single y. Yep, you're so welcome. Good. All right, great questions, you guys. how did you get to the 3? Well, I got to the 3 because I'm looking for what can divide into 12, 9, and 6. But I used my answer choices to help me. So instead of thinking like, oh, what times what gives me 12, but can also go on to 9, can also go to 6, all of them had 3. So I knew I could divide this by 3, this by 3, and this by 3. I used my answer choice to help me with that. Yep, you're so welcome. No, somebody said, but there isn't no division. But that's kind of what you're doing when it says factor. You're taking out, you're dividing really by what they all have in common. Okay. All right, let's do some more. Let me show you. Okay, let's try some more. So let's go here. Boom. All right, so we have factor 3x squared minus 8x plus 4. Okay, so when you're trying to factor a trinomial, this is called a trinomial because it's 3 terms. Okay, what you're asking yourself is, what times what gets you 3x squared? So what times what gets you 3? Well, a 3x and an x. So a 3x times x will get me 3x squared. Or you could switch these, x times 3x, but it's still 3x and an x, okay? Now you're asking yourself, what times what can get you 4? Well, there's 1 and 4, and there's also 2 times 2, right? So see how they have 1 and 4 and 2 times 2? What are we gonna try? I'm gonna try 2 times 2, okay? So I'm putting 2 and a 2 here. Now, how I see how they get this -8 is you have to do your outer times your inner. So I get 2 times x gives you 2x, and then 3x times 2 gets us 6x. Well, how can I combine these to make a -8x? They both must be negative. And that's how I'm going to get the -8x. So I put a negative here and a negative here. And the only ones that match my solution is D. So let me show you why this one doesn't work. Okay, let's talk about why this one doesn't work. So we have an x minus 4 and a 3x minus 1. Okay, so let me explain why this doesn't work. Because we're going to check to see that it doesn't give us that -8x. So here we have our outer. X times -1 gets us -1x. The inner, -4 times a 3 gets us -12x. But when we add these, we get -13x, which is not the same as -8x. That's why this is wrong. Okay. What is 16? Math teacher. What is 16? Oh, did I say 16? -13x. I don't know what you mean. What is 16? We're going to do these two. I'm going to do these two. And then I want to do the one that I messed up and wrote wrong. Okay. All right. So let's go to 18. Let's go to 18. So it says factor 2x squared minus xy minus y squared. All right. So let's break this down. Remember, we're going to use our multiple choice to help us. So you're asking yourself, what times what gets you 2x squared? Well, I need a 2x and an x. Okay. Then you're asking yourself, what times what gets you y squared? Well, y times y gets me y squared. Okay, so now I need a -1 xy. So how am I going to combine these? 2x times y gets me 2xy. Y times x gets me xy. Which one has to be negative, you guys, in order to come up with a negative one when I'm adding them? Does this one have to be negative or does this one have to be negative? Can you guys put it in the chat? Good. -2, the 2xy. Yes. So this one must be negative because 1 minus 2 is going to give us that -1xy. So I have to put the negative here and the plus here. And so which one is our answers, you guys? Does anybody see which one is the answer? This is algebra 1, factoring, freshman math, and then sometimes you'll see it in algebra 2. C. Yes, it is C. See, it doesn't matter which way you write them. I'm like which order. Like, see how they have the x minus y first? That doesn't matter as long as you match up the pair, though. So this is x minus y, but see how they had a minus here? It's supposed to be a plus. So that's why C is our answer. Yeah, somebody said I haven't done this in years. I know. Yep. All right, let's do 16. Okay, so this says a difference. This is a difference of squares, okay? A difference of squares. And what a difference of squares is you're looking for a perfect square. So something times itself, and then you have a plus and a minus, and then something times itself, okay? So what do I mean by that? What times itself can give you 16? Can you guys put it in the chat? What times itself gives you 16? 4. Good. So we have a 4x and a 4x. That's why it says squares, okay? Because a difference of squares. So 4x and 4x, plus or minus, okay? Because that's what it is for a difference of squares. And then what times itself gets you 81? Good, 9. Yep. So it's 9y and 9y. And these are our factors. And this is what difference of squares looks like. Yep. Good. Okay, I want to do that one, you guys, that I wrote wrong. That division one. Can we do that one? You guys mind? You guys want to do it? Thank you so much for the rose. Are you guys down? Can we do this one? Let's do this one real quick, okay? Okay. So, this, you can Google McGraw-Hill. It's free online, you guys. McGraw-Hill Education Mathematical Reasoning Workbook for the GED test. If you Google that, it's a whole PDF that's online that will pop up, and it goes through every topic on the GED. I really like it. They don't break down how to solve them. They just give you the answers. But you know, if you need, like, if you're, you know, it could help for practice. Okay, so, almost wrote it wrong again. Okay, so this is that, and then our answer choices is A is 2x squared minus 3. B is 2x squared minus 2. And C is 2x minus 3. And our D is 2x plus 5, okay? All right. Whew. Okay, so now we know we wrote it right. So x plus 2. And we're going to do 2x squared plus an x minus a 6. All right. We're asking ourselves, what can I times this x by to make it look like this? A 2. And then how many more x's do I need? I need one more x. So 2x times x gets us 2x squared. 2x times 4 gets us plus 4x. Okay. But you have to remember you're minusing, so you have to change these signs here. Okay, change the signs. So 1 minus 4 is going to get us negative 3x. Then we're going to drop down our minus 6. Okay, so how did you get the 4x? We did 2x times 2. So 2 times 2 gets you 4. And then you have the x, and then you just bring the x with it. Great question. Thank you so much for the bear. Thank you, thank you. Yeah, somebody said, yeah, see, I think. Okay. So now we're asking ourselves, what can we times x by to get the negative 3x? Well, we have to multiply by negative 3. Yep. So negative 3 times x gets us negative 3x. And negative 3 times 2 gets us negative 6. But remember, you're minusing, so you're changing these to plus. So 3 minus 3 cancels. 6 minus 6 cancels. Get a 0. So your answer is going to be C. Right on. Oh, thank you for the heart. You guys, I greatly appreciate you guys hanging out with me doing this little math jam session. Tomorrow I will be on. I'm going to be doing ASVAB math. And then the day after that, I believe I have a TSI Accuplacer test for those who are trying to get into college. So thank you. This will be posted on my YouTube channel by tomorrow. So if anybody want to rewatch it, you guys have the opportunity, okay? Thank you. Have a wonderful rest of your Tuesday, you guys. Bye.